And your background is, and yeah, I know you hate this when Americans can't figure out if you're Scottish or Irish, right?
I'm from Liverpool, home of the Beatles.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, that's funny because Scottish Irish English. Yeah, so Liverpool.
That's the one. Yeah.
All right. Bryan Adams, welcome to the ROI Online Podcast.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, we're talking with Bryan Adams. He's the co-author of Give and Get, Repel the Many and Compel the Few with Impact, Purpose, and Belonging. His company, PH Creative, is the folks that you call in to help you really start to get your employer branding deliberate, obvious, and squared away. Core beliefs. That has to be first. You have to define the core beliefs before you can start to deliver it to. And so is there a process that you like to promote or identify to start? We think we know what our core beliefs, but if you got stopped when you were like getting a coffee and just someone goes, hey Bryan, what's your core beliefs over at PH? I think most people would be like, well, we're on this, but to have it really worked out, I think there's a process you need to go through. Well, what's the name of that process? Is there a framework?
There is a framework. It's all documented in the book, and essentially it's we call it the Give and Get employer branding. The framework underneath is nothing more than a series of questions and different research methodologies to get to the truth about what people stand for and believe in. And the interesting thing is, we've never done an employer branding project where we haven't been able to perfectly identify the values that exist in an organization. Sometimes they're articulated differently in different aspects of a company, but getting to the sentiment and the derivative is usually quite straightforward. Where it gets tricky, of course, is the core beliefs and the values that exist in an organization. That sort of that phrase, what got you here won't get you there. Mm-hmm. When you're in that sort of phase of transition where it's like, well, actually, there's something missing here. We need to introduce something to drive the business forward, or, we no longer want that value, or it's no longer sort of fit for purpose. But by and large, the core values and those core beliefs are what will be withstanding, will stand the test of time and be there from start to finish. Sometimes it needs to add, sometimes it needs to be refined, sometimes it needs to be recalibrated or articulated slightly differently, but that certainly is the foundation. So we do a lot of surveying, we do workshops and ask questions and follow-up questions and have conversations. We observe people in organizations, and that research is absolutely fundamental to building a strategy and then bringing it to life, with authenticity.
I really like repel the many and compel the few with impact, purpose, and belonging. And it feels very counterintuitive to that you're wanting to repel most of the people. Mm-hmm. And so how do we get comfortable repelling most of the people who wouldn't be a good fit in our organization and feel good about it and confident about it?
So I love the fact that it feels counterintuitive, and I totally agree. But actually, once we look at it, the big difference between consumer branding and employer branding is when you put a job posting up there and you get 100 people, 100 applicants, one thing we know for sure is 99% of those people who have interacted with your brand are going to be rejected and turned away. So we don't want to just be the most attractive brand across the board when we recruit for the best talent in the marketplace. Actually, if we could only have 10 applications, or the euphoria is just one application and that's the person we want to hire, then doesn't that make much more sense? I've never met a head of talent attraction who wants more applications. They want more of the right applications. And what's really cool is still 38% of employer brand leaders will cite an uplift in applications as a success criteria for employer brand. But then as soon as they apply, the recruiters of that organization are inventing technology, they're using automation and artificial intelligence to deal with the deluge of applicants that they don't want. They don't want more applicants, they just want more of the right applicants. So if we're comfortable and confident about the employee experience that we offer and the fact that it's not for everybody, employer branding is there to repel most people with the truth, to compel those people who are perfectly matched for our organization. And if we get that formula right, and then we do need more volume, because let's say we're hiring a significant number of people this month, then we can turn up the dials and compel more of those right people. But then we're in the territory of recruitment marketing, not branding.
So the core beliefs, they usually come from like the founder or the initial person who got it started. But over time, if you have 50 people that work there, those core beliefs are impacted by even some leading employees or people that start to take over and drive, because what got them started, like you said, is not necessarily that same person's not going to be leading forever. What are some of the things that you've witnessed or recognized of how other core beliefs come into play that weren't originally there from the founder?
So we worked with an organization recently, VF Corporation. So they're the corporation behind Vans and Timberland and the North Face and those sorts of brands. And after our research, we were a lot of the sort of common themes jumped out at us. The core values they told us about were validated. But one thing across the organization, and this is an organization with more than 10,000 people in 50 countries, was this evidence-driven need for, there was this thing called the VF aspect of being nice, being too nice to the point where people wouldn't give feedback that was constructive and productive to making progress and using the most of the intellect and the collaboration around you. So we had to introduce an aspect of radical candor and be clear that this is evidence-based in the fact that everybody recognizes it's missing and holding the organization back. So out of the 4 pillars that we produced, the sort of strategic pillars of the employer brand, one of them was aspirational, that didn't exist, but needed to be implemented to evolve the organization and make them more effective, productive, and conducive. So that's a simple example of, and it's still authentic because it was required. Everybody acknowledged it was required. And now it's articulated, it's out in the open, and people can start to live up to that employer brand pillar that has been strategically put in place.
Those core beliefs are going to be in play regardless, even though the things may waver or change or swerve or flow differently. The core beliefs are always going to be the thing that feels consistent to the tribe, your tribe that you're building.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they say your true self, your true core values and beliefs are revealed when put under pressure. And because you can say these are our values and beliefs in fair weather, you can say whatever you want, but actually when times of challenge, difficulty and adversity like we've just had in 2020, that's when your true values and beliefs are revealed. So that's when you find out a lot about yourself, the people around you and your organization, how they interact, behave, support, appreciate, acknowledge, etc. So what a great exercise from an employer branding perspective is look back on 2020 and say, okay, who did we say we were and who showed up? Because the consistency between who you said you were and how you acted 2020 is probably the best research and the best proof that you are who you think you are. because that's one of our, we ask people for questions, we ask people questions about, tell us a time when you were put under great pressure, how did it feel? Or tell us a time when your team or organization was under great pressure, what were the differences you noticed? Or, what did you stick to in terms of what remained the same? It's really insightful, that information, because it really is very revealing about who you are as a culture.